Hello and welcome to this lecture on etiology of cell injury. We will discuss in detail about acquired causes of different disease. It has been divided into 10 types. Number 1 is hypoxia and ischemia. Number 2 is physical agents. Number 3 is chemical agents and drugs. Number 4 is microbial agents. Number 5 is immunological agents. Number 6 is nutritional de-arrangement. Number 7 is aging. Number 8 is psychogenic disease. Number 9 is iatrogenic factors. And number 10 is idiopathic disease. Let's discuss one by one. Hypoxia and ischemia. It is defined as deficiency of oxygen or hypoxia resulting in failure to carry out these activities by the cell. We split the term hypoxia into two sections. Hypo and oxia. Hypo means reduce. Whereas oxia means oxygen. So in hypoxia, there will be deficiency of oxygen that is mentioned in the first section. And they mention this as hypoxia that result in failure of normal functions that has to be done by the cells. And oxygen is very essential to carry out different functions in the body. Why? Because it is necessary to produce different functions. It is necessary to produce energy in the body. It is responsible for making ATP, which is known as adenosine triphosphate, and it is also known as energy producing chemical. Why oxygen is important? Because it is responsible for cellular respiration. And in the cellular respiration, glucose with the help of oxygen inside the cytoplasm in mitochondria is responsible to produce ATP, which is known as adenosine triphosphate, for producing the energy along with the production of carbon dioxide, water. So it is responsible, oxygen is very essential for giving you the energy, and if a person is having hypoxia, then the ATP will not be produced. Next question is that why hypoxia occur? Because of the lack of blood supply to the cells, such as myocardial ischemia. Myocardial ischemia. And which is caused by the presence of cholesterol or plaque formation in the artery, and that blockage of the blood is responsible for producing ischemia, because if the blood is not there, the oxygen will not reach to the cells, and we all know that blood is the carrier for oxygen to be delivered to different cells, and that leads to the myocardial ischemia. We will discuss detail in upcoming lectures. Then the other cause is other than the interruption. Like in the first case in myocardial ischemia, we have the interruption, the blood interruption, but other than interruption like anemia, Anemia is known as the condition in which you have lacking enough healthy red blood cells to carry out adequate oxygen to the body tissues. So if a person having less red blood cells, then obviously the oxygen carrying capacity is reduced. And this is the other example where we can explain hypoxia. Next is physical agents. We already discussed a little bit in our previous lecture that there are different kind of stresses. So the physical agents could be the mechanical trauma, such as road accidents, and thermal trauma caused by the heat or cold. Then electrical, like high voltages. Then the radiations like ultraviolet radiations, ionizing radiations. Then we have rapid change in the atmospheres. For example, the scuba diving is the common example for that. Then we have chemicals and drugs. Chemical poisons such as cyanide, arsenic, mercury, strong acid such as HCl, hydrochloric acid, or H2SO4, sulfuric acid. Then we have alkalis like sodium hydroxide. Then we have environmental pollutants, for example, smoke, which can cause stroke or heart disease. According to the UN, more than 200,000 people die every year from pesticide poisoning. Then we have oxygen at high concentration. It is also known as oxygen toxicity, and it usually occur in scuba diving. Then hypertonic glucose and salt. It is meant what is meant by hypertonic glucose and salt? Hypertonic mean high concentration of glucose in the cell or high concentration of salt inside the cell. For example, hypertonic hyperglycemia is responsible for diabetes. Then social agents such as alcohol, narcotics and drugs. And alcohol overtoxicity is very common. Consuming 7 or more drinks per week is considered as excessive drinking for women, whereas in men's 15 or more drinks per week is considered as excessive drinking. Or the drugs, for example, digoxin, which is used for the treatment of heart failure. If that drug has been used at high concentration or at high dose, then it can lead to the death. So it is very important that the dose of the drug is very important. High concentration or high dose of the drug can be fatal and can cause death. Next is microbial agents. I already discussed a little bit that injuries can be caused by microbial agents such as bacteria or viruses. Then we have some viral agents like HIV that can cause AIDS, hepatitis, Ebola virus, adenovirus, influenza, bacteriophage, and now currently is COVID-19, coronavirus in general. Then we have rickettsia, which are like ticks, fleas, lices, and mites. Then we have fungi. The common example is athlete foot. Then we have protozoas. Then other microbial agents like metazoas. Then immunological agents such as hypersensitivity reactions. For example, food allergy. Then we have anaphylactic reactions, which are more severe to hypersensitivity if prolonged for longer duration. And it is a part of chronic allergy that can lead to cardiovascular complications and respiratory failures. Then we have autoimmune disease, and that is responsible for multiple sclerosis and complications of wide variety of nerve diseases. Next, we have nutritional derangement such as starvation, anemia, nutritional excess such as obesity. Next slide is talking about aging. Why aging occur? Because it is a natural physiological process that occurs with time, and the cell will age with time. Next is iatrogenic causes, which is defined as an illness that caused by medication or physician. So it is an error by a physician or medical professional that leads to a death, such as the prescription of any false drug or dosage can lead to iatrogenic causes. In idiopathic diseases, the cause of the disease is unknown. There are many diseases where we still not know that the disease is caused by which factors, such as cancer or hypertension. In a given situation, more than one of the above etiological factors may be involved in one disease. So thank you so much for today's lecture.